The leader of the opposition says the budget measures for the coming 12 months are a mixed bag of issues with no coherence. He said the GSD supports the increases in minimum wage, pensions, disability benefit, and sponsored patient allowances by the cost of inflation. Keith Azopardi said the corporate tax rate increase is surprising and could threaten tax revenue or jobs. He said the public sector pay rise is not targeted for the low paid and could see families in the private sector with household incomes of less than £50,000 see their hard-earned money go to civil servants who may jointly in a household have incomes of £190,000. Of the increase in fees and charges, Mr. Azopardi said that they will penalise everybody, and especially the business sector, that he says see almost nothing from this budget. Of electricity and water, Mr. Azopardi said that those rates have now increased by 26% since 2021. On today's main talking point, the pollution levy, the leader of the opposition said that the government had scored an own goal. He thinks the measure should be declared dead and not go to consultation. Of public sector spending, including on health, he said the spending in and of itself is not the issue, but rather the issue is the lack of reality or the misinformation.
Then they are hiding those facts from the people, from the public, who have a right to know. For them to be really able to say they are being transparent, they need to answer questions and provide substantive information, not just empty paperwork.
Mr. Azopardi says the accounting for the year just gone shows that the GSLP Liberals were willing to say anything to get elected and to present figures they knew could not be achieved. He says they deliberately misrepresented the position to get themselves elected. They sought to dupe voters on the finances and con them on being just 0.01% away from a Brexit deal. Of this year's reported numbers, Mr. Azopardi says the Chief Minister has produced a false picture of the financial bottom line. He claims a deficit of more than £40 million has been transformed into a small surplus. Mr. Azopardi spoke of a factory of letters written to individuals or associations with pre-electoral promises, many of which, the leader of the opposition claims, were notoriously abandoned post-election. He said the government had also erected roadblocks that prevented the principal auditor from concluding his reports before that election. He took aim at what he calls the jungle of government companies.
Madam Speaker, within the last couple of financial years, hundreds of millions of pounds are also being directed via a charity structure of which Community Supplies and Services forms part. That company, CSSL, will use hundreds of millions in projects at Coaling Island or Laguna Estate. At least it is projected to do so. This is a structure where it seems obvious that the Minister for Economic Development is the guiding hand under the guise of his secretive National Economic Plan.
On debt, Mr. Azopardi contrasted Mr. Picardo's 2011 promise to halve the then existing gross debt of £480 million to what he believes the staggering total debt is today, over £2 billion. Of the McGrail inquiry, Mr. Azopardi said it was surprising that the Chief Minister's WhatsApp messages to the senior partner of Hassan's law firm after September 2019 are still absent. And the leader of the opposition said the open guerrilla warfare campaign on the current Commissioner of Police in the GSLP's political newspaper, The New People, is simply perverse. Mr. Azopardi said things must have looked grave for Mr. Picardo when he had to ask Sir Peter Caruana, who once thought him unfit for office because of his instinct to deceive, to defend him in the McGrail inquiry.
For our parts, what has emerged in the inquiry already has confirmed the view that we have been setting out for some time, that there has to be radical reform to enshrine better checks and balances on executive power, or to ensure that conflicts of interest are better regulated. The evidence indicates a festering swamp of conflicts which corrode our democracy and spoke volumes of the attitude of the Chief Minister towards those issues.
Of Mr. Picardo's style of politics, Keith Azopardi said the Chief Minister complains about populism when he himself is the supreme populist and has been for years, quoting Macbeth, to look like the innocent flower and be the serpent beneath it. In summary, the leader of the opposition said the GSD supports reality while the government relies on misinformation.